Good morning. I'm April Chadwick.
Oh, and I'm Diane Gertis. This is the Mortgage Advantage Corner, and today it is just so thrilling to have Denise Pias with us. And usually we don't talk about the companies that they're with, but at this point we're going to make an exception because she is with Remax Alliance, and she is one of and has been one of the top 1% of all Remax agents in the United States. Oh, yay. So I'd like very much, I want Denise, if you don't mind, tell us what made you decide to get into real estate.
I have to say that it was, hi, by the way, I'm Denise. I have to say, by the way, that honestly, that it was peer pressure that got me into real estate. Jim Carlisto, a very, very dear friend of mine, Leonore, her husband, Jim Carlisto, is a very top agent in the Valley as well. Top producing agent, very good agent, highly respected. He kept pushing me and telling me, Denise, this is what you need to be doing. And so finally, I just said, okay, fine, Jim, I will get my license. I will try it. And fast forward 20 some years later, I'm so thankful that he did. He obviously saw something in me, and I didn't realize that I would love it so much, but it just seems like such a natural place for me to be.
Have you
What did you do before?
20 years?
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, have you really been doing this 20 years already?
Yes,
Wow.
yes. I just had my 20-year anniversary with Remax, and I started at that same office. And I just had that anniversary at the beginning of the year.
That's amazing.
20 years.
Well, and Denise, actually, if I may just throw a plug in, I met Denise. Did you do a purchase or a refinance when you were still in your previous life? That's when I first met Denise, before she got into real estate. And
Right.
Speaking of your previous life, what did you do before you got into real estate?
I was in the bakery industry for 20 years, actually. So I started off in the in-store bakeries at Abco in Ahwatukee, and I moved up into the industry where I was selling products nationwide. 20 years later, working for food brokerages.
And to talk about food on a personal note, she is an outstanding, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. That is supposed to be off. Stop. She is an outstanding baker, an outstanding chef. I'm not saying cook, she is a chef.
Oh, you're
And
sweet.
And you're 100% vegan, is that correct?
I am. Well, I don't know. I eat vegan 100%, but I do carry a leather handbag. So technically, and I drive a car with leather seats. So
they don't make vegan cars yet.
well, they might, but I don't own one. So
well, after you got into real estate, what were the skills that you brought with you from being in your previous life or your previous career to your new career?
I think, honestly, the ability to really service people, hear what they're actually asking for. It's not about driving something home that you have in your mind. It's about truly listening to your clients, truly listening to their needs, and working hard. Hard work.
And when you first started out, you were on a team, correct?
Correct. So
how long were you on?
Oh, sorry.
No. How long were you on the team?
Geez, Diane, I don't know that I quite remember exactly. But Jim was wonderful that not only did he pressure me into the industry, that he did bring me on as a buyer's agent. And I was able to really glean a lot of knowledge from him, and again, he's got his head on right when it comes to servicing his clients as well and doing the right thing. So I believe that I was under him for about 3 or 4 years, maybe.
And then what was the deciding factor for you to go out on your own?
It just seemed as though I was really working on my own at that point. And it just seemed like the natural progression. When he would try to give me business, I didn't really seem to have the time or ability. He ended up bringing on other buyer's agents for that. So I seemed to kind of be pretty self-sufficient. I've always been independent, never really needing a lot of direction.
So where do you get your client? How do your clients come to you? Are these from past relationships? I mean, not obviously we've done loans for your past boyfriends, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, let's not go there, please. That's a different podcast altogether.
Zoom that we're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, can we do that? That would be fun with a glass of wine, by the way. But
Oh, that's right. We have some stories to tell. Now I remember.
oh, I'm sure. Yes, yes. You girls have known me for a long time.
And that is one thing I will say. We have known Denise for a long time, and you are just so wonderful in everything that you do. So
Thank you. My goodness. I appreciate that. You ladies are fantastic.
Denise, would you say that you prospect? Do you prospect now, or did you at the beginning when you started?
I'm not very good at that.
Well, and that's great. Is you're successful and you've got your own rhythm.
It seems to my phone rings. You know, there's a lot of people that are calling in. Those calls are people, salespeople trying to get you to sign up for this to have your phone ring, or to do this marketing to have your phone ring. My client base is probably 90% referrals and repeat clients, and that's professional referrals from other agents that I've done transactions with that say, hey, I'm no longer selling real estate. I really enjoyed working with you. Will you handle this client of mine, or my previous client, or you handle this area and I don't, will you take care of them for me? So that speaks volumes to me. That's one of the hugest, compliments that I can get, is when another real estate agent will say, hey, I want you to take care of this client for me. So anyways, about 90% of it is just that, is just my past clients and them telling someone and giving my name out and
Wow.
repeat.
I think that's great. And then when you first started, how would you say that you would try to attract business?
Definitely, we did the traditional farming of subdivisions and you need to remember also, this was 20 years ago and the technology was very different then. I mean, we used to sign on when I started, the MLS was on that DOS server that you had to sign up with your, with your modem. What was it? Like that, ding, 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 ding. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't at all
Like dial-up?
internet based. It was server based. So technology has really changed. We spent a lot of time driving around, talking to people. Everything's much more, it's just different now, obviously. But we did the snail mail advertising, the farming of a neighborhood by delivering flyers. I don't know that much of it worked, honestly. Like you'd get a call here or there. And what's interesting is that actually some of them have turned out to be, again, I can look at clients that I have now that came from maybe that one or two successful phone calls that I got very early on.
Well, one thing that I have noticed is that you have, through the years, well, maybe you have learned to become a very savvy negotiator when it comes to contracts. And I've not seen you, to my knowledge, we've not ever had a transaction fall apart due to repairs or appraisals through the years. I can't think of one.
Well, I think that there's a lot of times I just encountered an escrow that I'm in where it seemed as though we were hitting a blockade, but there's always, if the seller wants to sell the property and if the buyer wants to buy it, we should be able to work it out, so it's really almost just a meeting of the minds. And there's a lot of emotions that play into this when buyers and sellers are are going through the transaction and the escrow process, but sometimes they just need to digest and process their emotions and, just don't react harshly or too quickly, because I feel as though once the emotions settle down, then you can kind of come to a meeting of the minds and keep something together.
You're really good about keeping your clients calm, because I know that we've had a couple that have been, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it through the transaction. But you've been very, very good at keeping your clients calm and letting them know their options, and then navigating them through the transaction for a successful close.
Thank you.
And you've been really good about keeping your team together. I mean, if I may do a shout out to Susan over at Old Republic Title, you've used her for many, many years as well.
I have. She does a wonderful job with the clients. You never ever have to worry if there's a delay in title because the file hasn't been tended to.
Yeah, and she's also very good because things a lot of times come up backstage, as I like to call it, and
Right.
we really don't want to get the client and the agent involved unless we have to. And she
Correct.
is really good about not, well, you're not going to believe what Diane asked me to do. She just we talk it out and then we get it resolved. And you don't need to know about some of that goes on, as long as it gets resolved. Like, I think you've even told me that. Don't tell me until it's resolved, until you have options. I don't even want to know. So
I know you'll work it out.
yeah, that's what.
Right?
Oh, I remember. I don't know, what was this, right after everything happened, when the market all changed? I will never forget this, Denise. And this is when all the guidelines changed. It was like, no, we're talking about agent history now, but I think it was like 2010, 2011. And this is when the appraisals were taking longer and everything. And I had to call you and say, Denise, we're not going to close on time because of the appraisals are taking longer because they had just changed how we do things. And he said, oh, Diane, you're so funny. You're going to no, Denise, we're not going to close on time.
Oh, it's just fine. I know you. You'll get it done.
I don't know. You know what? I'm going to throw this phone. It is off.
It's amazing. There's a side button. But we can do a podcast.
Well, what is it? These are these newfangled phones I'm not sure how to work with. So
You got
it is really off. But
you probably even have other rooms that you could put it into. Also.
It's all right. Oh, I need a kiddo.
Just a thought.
But Denise, Diane always has a saying that the emotion of the transaction all depends on the real estate agent.
Wow.
And I think that's very true. We see some agents get so worked up or so upset or so frantic that obviously their buyer or seller is going to feed off of that.
Sure.
And it's always been so amazing. Just like even then, when Diane says it's not going to close, you're like, it's fine.
Well,
sure it is. You'll work it out.
You will work it out. The other thing, Denise, that I have always admired about you is your ability to balance work and your personal life. And many agents are not able to do that. And you, for like the past, even though you were, you're very successful in the top 1%, you were able to take trips with your boyfriend, or is that what he is? You haven't really said yet. So,
well, yes, he's my love.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
my love.
So you've been able to take trips when your parents both had horrendous situations happen to them, both your dad
Right.
and your mom and stepdad. You were able to take time off and still were able to still be one of the top agents. So I mean, that is incredible. And
I think
that's great.
If I can say, I don't think that that's something that's come super easy for me. My gut is I could fall into a workaholic very easily and not tend to myself and my own needs. But meanwhile, life is still going, right? And we're aging, and there has to be a happy medium. There has to be a healthy balance there with, I don't want to look back and go, oh yes, great. I had a good career, but that's all I had time for.
Yeah.
You know, you have to take those moments when you're giving those gifts of these loved ones in your life, then you have to embrace it and take the time for them just as much as I would take the time for my clients. And if there's too much business, then don't take it on. Look, you're making me cry.
Oh, no, I don't want to make you cry.
No, but it's, you know, it's true.
And that's, you don't want life to pass you by. And I think that's really, and balance is so hard for real estate agents. And most of the time it's the opposite of what you're going through. Balance for them is too much free time and I need to get to work once in a while. But, you know, but there is a big scale on that. And what would you, so Denise, and especially this market's crazy. You've kind of been through a market like this.
Yes.
You know, what advice would you have for agents right now in this market?
Persistency, stick-to-itiveness, you know, don't give up. Things have a funny way of falling into place for your clients. You know, if your client doesn't get that one home, they'll understand it when they get their home.
Oh,
and they'll look back on it and say, this is why we didn't get that one that we thought we were so heartbroken for, because the one that we're in is so much better.
Are you talking about Mike and Diane Gertis?
Right? Exactly.
I have never in my life heard the term arborist so many times. Ever. It needed to be a drinking game. Arborist again?
Again, this is our happy hour talk right now.
And you know what? Through all the years, that is our transaction was the only one that funded, and then the buyer backed out. Oh yeah, that would be us before it recorded. The only one. So anyway,
That's
poor thing.
interesting.
The clients you have to put up with, Denise. I'm so sorry. It's just terrible. But anyway.
Yeah, it was awful.
But
Well, we love you, Denise. We are just so grateful that you have been a part of our lives, both professionally and personally. You just have such a great heart and are just such a wonderful partner in our journey. So we just love you so much.
I love you, girl.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invite. Always love seeing you beautiful ladies.
And we adore you. And thank you for the insight. And once again, I'm April Chadwick. I am with the Mortgage Advantage. Please subscribe and you can see our wonderful videos. And at some point we'll do a fun happy hour one. And we also have Diane Gertis, and her phone number is 480-235-5667. And also Denise Pias, if you guys ever have questions, she's amazing. So thank you, Denise. I hope you have a wonderful day.
We love
Bye.
you. Bye.